Welcome back to the Pond Hockey Postgame Show. I'm Devin Caney, and guys, it is time for our Diamond Debate presented by Mark's Jewelers. And I have to say, the bling I'm wearing tonight might be my favorite yet, and it's because it's so fitting. They gave me two different pieces tonight. This ring that I don't know if you can see here, and this necklace. And if you guys look closely, it's like vines, and they gave me a little note with it, and they said it's to honor with Sirianni's like fertilizer speech last season about plants growing.
Wait, you can't see the necklace on camera. Let's see the necklace on camera. There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
The mic blocks it. But I thought Nick Sirianni had an incredible game today. I also loved his passion. Like, I keep seeing more and more clips come out of him just on the sidelines of him running into the tunnel, chirping the Cowboys. So love to see it. Love Nick Sirianni. Love these pieces by Mark's Jewelers. Let's get to our Diamond Debate. And anyone tuning in, if you want to weigh in, then go to my Twitter. You can weigh in. I believe it's up on the YouTube page as well, and let us know your thoughts. But today's Diamond Debate is, are the Eagles the best team in the NFC? Right now, 95% of people, at least on Twitter, say yes. Someone replied and said, you are what your record says you are. Someone else said there is still a lot to clean up. And someone said, no, they're the best team in the NFL. But if you look around what happened the rest of the league today, especially the NFC, the Packers lost. There were a few other losses around the NFC today, actually. Tampa Bay lost.
San Francisco.
Which is really surprising.
Yeah.
So anything's up for grabs, and the Eagles are undefeated. Are they the best team in the NFC? And I heard you talking about the Bills earlier. Are they the best team in the league?
I think they're the best team in the NFC right now. That I believe. I can't speak for Kansas City. You know, I'd have to see them play the Kansas City Chiefs or the Buffalo Bills, you know, before making that assessment. And unfortunately, the only time we're going to get a chance to find out whether that's the case is, you know, if they can make it to the Super Bowl.
Just Kansas City?
Well, either one of them. Because either Buffalo or Kansas City is going to the Super Bowl out of the AFC. You know, so if we believe that the Philadelphia Eagles are the best team and they can, you know, finish this out, we're going to find out whether they're a better team than either one of those teams if they can get to the Super Bowl.
Who do we look at as the teams in the NFC that were going to be the juggernaut type of teams? We looked at Tampa Bay. We looked at the Rams. We looked at Green Bay. Look where all those teams are now. We don't even know what they are. So I don't think there's any question the Eagles are the best team in the NFC because they've shown a steadier personality than any of the teams in the conference.
I agree. I mean, the Rams won, but they were down to the Panthers, who are going through complete disarray right now, and they've just had a not great start to their season so far. Vikings won today, but the Eagles kind of already proved that they can beat the Vikings handedly. So I think they're the best team in the NFC. The AFC, on the other hand, worries me a lot. But
well, based on your poll, I want to know what the other 5% is thinking in terms of who's the best team in the NFC if it's not 100% across the board.
That's a really good question,
That's frightening. That 5% of your poll out there thinks there's somebody other than the Eagles in the NFC who are the best team right now.
All right, well, if you voted on the poll already, you said that they aren't, then let me know who the best team is.
There's no question the Eagles are the best team in the NFC right now because of their diversity, their ability to overcome challenges. Out of the 6 games that they've played this year, they've had challenges from 3 teams: Arizona, Detroit, and Dallas. And they came out on the winning ledger in all 3 cases. You can't say that about San Francisco, Rams, Tampa Bay, Green Bay. None of those teams, which is weird. The team that comes closest right now, and I'm not really afraid of them, is the Giants and their ability to overcome. You go back to what the Giants did their first game of the season against Tennessee when Brian Daboll said, we're going for it on a 2-point conversion, and his team said in unison, go for it. They get it, and that just started a roll for the Giants. Now, I'm not any way, shape, or form saying the Giants are the equivalent of the Eagles, but right now, as weird as it sounds, the Giants might be the best team in the NFC right now, okay? So you look at the Eagles where they are, and nobody can touch the Eagles right now. There's no question, hands down, who the best team in the NFC is, but like Seth said, and I'm thinking the same thing. Now, when you talk about the entire NFL, that Buffalo team is a monster. Yes, they do have one loss. Yes, Kansas City does have 2 losses. But when you got that man named Patrick Mahomes under center and some of the things that he can do with a football in his hand, you never count him out of a game. So, but the Eagles are right there in that conversation. When you say who are the top 3 teams in the NFL right now, the Eagles are right in the middle of that conversation.
So are you saying that you think the Giants can beat the Eagles?
No.
Okay.
I'm just saying it's been that kind of year in the NFL. The teams that we thought that were going to be up in the NFC are down. They're struggling.
Yeah.
And the team we thought was going to be a basement dweller, the Giants, are one of the teams that are the talk of the league now. For whatever the reason. They keep finding ways to win. It's just been that kind of year through the first 6 weeks in the NFL.
I'm this Giant talk is making me nuts.
Why?
Because who catches passes for the Giants? Like who are the where are the? I understand Saquon Barkley's a great player. I get it. Who's catching passes for that team?
Mike, here's what I base my discussion on when I'm talking about the Giants. This was a team, the offensive line was decimated by injuries coming out of training camp. They started the season without their first top 2 pass rushers on their defense, okay? Then all of a sudden, they're still finding ways to win games.
They're a nice story.
It is, but you know what?
Not a great team.
Nobody said they were a great team. They're an interesting story right now.
We're talking about them being a threat to the Eagles. It's insulting me.
No, I'm saying it will be interesting. It's going to be interesting. I didn't say they were a threat.
You know what worries me about the Giants is they know what they keep finding ways to win, and that says a lot for.
Mike's trying to stir up controversy.
No, but they do.
I'm watching a team that has the answer for everything. The Giants are a nice story. I get it. They're not even close to what the Eagles are right now.
No, they're not. But we're saying who's the second best team in the NFC? Who's the second best team?
Minnesota.
The problem is you want to talk about right now. The Eagles don't play the Giants until down the road.
Right.
How do you know what the Giants are going to be when we get there?
And how healthy the teams are going to be.
If they keep playing the way that they're playing, listen, Saquon is just going to get better if he can stay healthy, okay? Daniel Jones seems like he understands how to play the position of quarterback. And that defense is better than it was.
You have a lot more trust in Daniel Jones than I do.
Well, no, but here's the thing.
The only team that they lost to, okay, was the Giants. Okay, let's talk about. You want to talk about what's on the schedule? You play who's on the schedule, right?
Well, of course.
Okay, so they're 5-1, and the Eagles are 6-0. I'm not saying that they're a better team, but to make an assertion to just like dismiss them, like they're
that's what
nothing.
I'm doing.
And
That's nonsensical.
To Daniel Jones'
nonsensical.
credit, to Daniel Jones' credit, he is finding his groove, and I think credit also to Dable for helping him do that. But we saw the Eagles against pass-heavy offenses or quarterbacks who like to get the ball in the air. Kirk Cousins, even today, Cooper Rush, they can intercept it. Eagles' secondary is amazing. And then we saw them against Kyler Murray, who can put the wheels on like Daniel Jones. And I know the Eagles didn't have a great game against the Cardinals, and there was a lot of other factors playing into it. I'm just saying it could be tougher. I'm not ready to write them up. I think the Eagles are better than the Giants. I think they're better than the Giants, but I'm not ready to.
Nobody's making the comparison and saying that the Giants are a better football team.
They're tricky.
I'm just saying that the Giants have put the rest of the NFL on notice because you don't go from what they were last year to 5-1 out of nowhere and just totally disregard them. I think that's probably why they're 5-1 because everybody thinks that it's an automatic win, and they go in there and they get their asses handed to them.
I give credit to the architects of the offense and defense for the Giants.
Absolutely.
Brian Daboll identified he's one of the better quarterback coaches in the National Football League. He identified the strengths and weaknesses of Daniel Jones, and he's eliminated the number of weaknesses to make him an efficient quarterback. Not an elite quarterback, Mike. Don't start that. Not elite, an efficient quarterback. And Wink Martindale identified the talent that he has on defense, and he found a way to orchestrate a scheme to make them play better football, and it's all added up to 5 wins and 1 losses for the Giants. Are we sitting here saying they're on the same tier as the Eagles? Absolutely not. But we're going to get an answer down the road.
They've got some lousy teams coming up, although I think they lose next week at Jacksonville. That's my prediction.
Really?
I think the Giants get the It's like a car. When it goes real fast, it looks good, and then it has to make a turn around a corner, hits a wall. That's what I think is going to happen to them. They're going to lose to Jacksonville. Then they have at Seattle, Houston, Detroit. at that. All right, so they could pile up some wins before they get to the Eagles.
Yeah, it's
All
an
right.
interesting
The
story.
next loss that they're going to get when you look at the schedule, they're going to lose to Dallas. They're going to beat Washington.
Wait, you
and
think
yes,
Dallas beats the Giants?
Dallas will beat. They beat them. They beat them the first time they played them.
Well, yeah, but I
Okay,
mean, are
so-
you saying with Cooper Rush or with Dak Prescott? Are you assuming
Dak
Dak
will be
Prescott's
back.
going to
Dak will
be
be
back?
back
Dak will be back by then.
Yeah.
No, you're
Dak
right,
will be
but-
back by then. But what that defense can do to the Giants that they couldn't do to the Eagles is create pressure on a Daniel Jones and cause him to make some mistakes. Listen, they only lost to the Giants the first time by like what? By a touchdown. I mean, that's the only game that they've lost. They lost by a touchdown. That game was close the entire way with Dak Prescott, no less. Okay, so I mean
They've had 5 straight games at home. They're going on the road to Jacksonville. I'm going to tell you right now, Seth Joyner, a little side bet here for whatever.
Against Jacksonville?
I'm taking the Jags.
You're taking.
Whoa.
Give me some odds,
Whoa.
and then you can bet. You can bet whatever
Give
you want.
you some odds.
Give me some odds. Yeah. You're the one that want to bet.
You're talking about the Giants like they have LPs coming out of that locker room.
Give me some odds, and then make it light on yourself.
Devin, he wants odds. He's been bragging
he
about
said,
the
I guarantee it.
He's been bragging about the Giants for the last 10 minutes.
Did I say anything about guarantees?
I didn't hear a guarantee.
He said he
word.
guarantees. So if you guarantee, if you so sure, give me some odds and then make it light on yourself.
Can you imagine this guy begging for odds?
You know what? I would
I'm
back
not
you
begging
up,
for
Mike.
anything. I'm just
Mike,
telling you.
I would back you up because I've been a supporter of the Jags, except when they played the Eagles, like throughout this season. I think that they're a pretty good team. I like what Doug Peterson's doing, but they lost today. You know, I thought they were going to beat the Colts, and so I don't know if I can confidently
They were
say
due
that.
to lose to the Colts.
They haven't won a game since they left Philadelphia.
They haven't. No,
They
the
haven't won just the game
Eagles
before
broke. The
Philadelphia.
Eagles broke Jacksonville.
I don't know what the line on that game will be. I'm taking the Jags to derail
Over
that
the
Giants
Giants?
thing. Yes.
Okay, well,
Next
Okay.
week.
Well,
Next week.
so when it comes to the NFC, I think the Eagles are, we all agree that the Eagles are the best team in the NFC. Yes, there might be some teams like the Giants that worry us, but the Eagles still, the record says it all. They're the best team in the NFC. Looking at the Eagles' schedule down the road, they have a bye, which is really necessary because they have a lot of really banged up players, and then pretty easy opponents coming up. Can the Eagles go undefeated? Like, I know, look, at this, even last week, even earlier in the season, I thought that was a crazy notion. But after this game, after tonight's game, looking at their schedule, I mean, it seems doable to me.
Health is a big factor when you even mention something like that. And you look at this game, they came out of this game, 2 offensive linemen hurt again, 2 of the starters. Dickerson hurt, Lane Johnson hurt. Obviously, now they have a couple of weeks for those guys to rest up. If this Eagles team can stay healthy, and that's a big if because, as we know, everybody is not going to stay healthy in the National Football League. That is a great bait for the discussion when you look at the schedule that they have. You know, they still have to go play Dallas on Christmas Eve. They still have 2 games with the Giants. But I don't fear anybody on their schedule, and they're favored for a reason in every game that they're going to play until further notice. The possibility is there, but as we've seen historically, there's a reason why there hasn't been an undefeated team since the 72 Miami Dolphins. You know, the NFL has right now exactly what it wanted, parity across the league. And when we talk about the term any given Sunday, we've seen that through the first 6 weeks of this season.
Oh, even today.
Even today, it's been crazy.
Steelers.
Oh, my goodness.
Jets.
The Steelers won a game.
Falcons.
Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
Well, that's the Eagles coming out of a bye. Could the Steelers give them something?
If I'm a betting man, I think the Eagles blow out the Steelers, to be honest. You know, because the Steelers have so much deficiency on both sides of the football, offensive line and their defensive front, which is uncustomary for them because that has been their bread and butter for decades. Stout offensive line, stout defensive line. But they won a football game that nobody expected them to win.
Eagles secondary against Kenny Pickett. Look, I went to Pitt. I don't want to root against Kenny Pickett, but like,
I'm
not playing that well.
I know that Kenny Pickett is supposed to be the guy, but he's in concussion protocol. And Mr. Trubisky came in and
won the game.
Won the game for him.
And got them, to the W. So now, they're kind of in quarterback
controversy?
You can never hold that Mitch Trubisky down, can you?
I mean, just a couple of weeks ago,
bubbling to the surface.
Hey, he's like
just a couple of weeks ago, Trubisky got pulled from a game because he stunk. Pickett was put in the game, and everybody thought they're going to turn the reins over to Pickett and just let him go. He gets a concussion. Of all people, Trubisky comes in and pulls out a game for him.
Well, wait. So with concussion protocol, does that mean will we get Trubisky or Pickett?
No, he should
He'll be back.
Pickett should be ready by the time the Eagles come off bye, but it all depends on what happens next week.
Yes.
If Pittsburgh goes into, I don't know who they play next week, but they
play the Dolphins next week.
I mean, if they figure out a way to go in and beat the Dolphins next week with Mr. Trubisky, they're not going back to Kenny Pickett.
No,
By the time they have
No.
to come here for the Eagles.
No.
Yeah, true.
Poor Kenny.
Poor Kenny.
Poor Kenny. I like him too.
Wait, Seth, I saw you going down the schedule. Is there any opponent that worries you more than others when it comes to
listen, the Steelers coming out of a bye, it might take them lightly, and they're coming out of a bye. You never know how they're going to react. At Houston, no. Washington Commanders, please. At Indianapolis, maybe. That could be a loss.
That could be a trap game.
Yeah, it could be a trap game because Green Bay's on deck at home. So maybe there.
There we go with that trap game stuff again.
It does exist.
What's your beef with trap games?
Huh?
It does exist.
It only exists because people have this nonsense in their mind, okay? As a player, you go out on the field and you're playing a game, okay? You mean to tell me that somebody's trying to take your damn head off in the middle of a game, okay? And you've got your mind on the game that's coming up next week?
No.
That happens in college.
What I'm
it
saying
happens in
is
college.
this.
It rarely happens in the pros.
A 17-game a grind wears on you eventually and wears on players. You're not going to play your best game every week.
No,
you have an off game.
I get you.
And when you're considered one of the better teams, every team below you looks at that's their next Super Bowl game.
See, but to me, that's not a trap game. It's just that's the ebb and flow of energy in the NFL. It's like when you have a highly emotional charged game. You want to know the hardest thing to do is to get up the next week. That's why when Minnesota came in here and we won the NFC Championship against them, I predicted right away. I was like, there's no way in the world that Minnesota can come in here and win this game. You want to know why? That highly emotional charged game that they had, they win the game on a walk-off touchdown pass, okay? It's late at night. They're not going to get to sleep until the next morning. Their energy and adrenaline stores are tapped. And then they got to get on the plane and come to Philadelphia and play and get up again. That's hard to do.
Yeah.
Some guys are wired to do that, but most guys aren't wired to do that. So, yeah, you're going to have those games every once in a while, where your energy is just down. But when you go through preparation a whole week, you break down, a team. You watch 4 game film and you go through your game plan and you practice 3-4 days. There ain't nothing to trap you the minute somebody try to take your damn head off or try to hit you in the mouth. It's game on. There's nothing to be trapped about. You're either going to show up and fight or you're not.
If it was a bad team, Indianapolis is going to be formidable for them to win that game there. So I agree with you. You're not going to look ahead to Green Bay. However, I just looked ahead to the next week's betting lines.
Odds.
Jacksonville Jaguars are a 2.5-point favorite next week against.
What?
They're home, right?
And they're riding what, a 3-game?
They're home.
They're on a 3-game losing streak, right? And they're a 2-point favorite over the Giants.
I'm just saying.
That is
minus 2.5.
If I was a betting man, I'd take that one.
I
would take that one.
It's
If I was a
Sunday.
betting man. Huh?
It's Sunday.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We got 6 more games, 6 more days
Yeah.
before the game. Just watch how much that line moves.
Unless Mike is sitting here making up lines
You want to see it?
to support his argument.
You want to see it?
What?
I'm going to show it to you.
Let me see.
What I
What's that
do
say?
know is now is the best time.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Okay.
What I do know is that now is the best time. These lines that come out on Sunday night are the best lines you're ever going to get.
I'm giving you a chance to get in on my wisdom.
Hey, listen, I work too hard for my money to bet it, man. Never. I don't do that.
All right, before we wrap up the Diamond debate, I want to go down the line and just get a yes or no answer. Are the Eagles the best team in the NFC? Mike Missinelli, you
Yes.
first.
Not even a question for me.
Derek.
Unequivocally.
Okay.
Unequivocally.
Yes, I
It was-
can't.
I asked for
can't
yes
spell
or
it.
no, but sure, we're out here
I can't
using
spell it,
big
but I know how
words
to say
again.
it. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, and to answer your question, you asked me which team worries me the most.
Yes.
Tennessee can be a concern
Yeah.
because they have
But that one's in Philly.
a decent defense. You
Yeah.
know, with
Yep.
that running game,
Yeah,
you
that's
know,
after
they're
Green Bay,
going to
too,
get
so.
a full deal in the running game.
And they have problems. They have problems in their run defense right now.
Yes, and I'm curious to see how the Giants are going to continue to progress, and then obviously, you know, the Christmas Eve game against Dallas with Dak back at 100%, being in their stadium, in their environment. You know, we won pretty handily tonight, but I think that game is going to take a whole different tone once you go down there because, you know, the ramifications of that game that late in the year are going to be tremendous.
All right. Yeah, agreed. Well, that wraps up our Diamond Debate presented by Mark's Jewelers. Stick around because the Pond the Hockey postgame show is coming back right after this break.
Go to